We're multiply in a multiverse, continually timeline splitting, and we're always trying to split to our highest timeline. So I hear you guys, not another Mercury retrograde coming up on June 1st. He exits on August the 9th and heads off to Leo land. When we talk Mercury and Venus, we're talking about what you want. But I'll tell you one thing about this particular Hekate. She gives us crossroads moments. America the beautiful.
Lunatic astrology.
Have a rare, fated crossroads ahead of us as we see something occurring in our sky that hasn't happened since 1895. And that's because when Mercury moves into Cancer, where he will stay for 2 whole months because of retrogradation, he not only joins Jupiter and Venus, but he flows to the nodes of fate. And when we add a crossroads fated element to that story with asteroid Hecate, we have a setup that's definitely once in a lifetime. In today's video, welcome. We're going to talk about how your fated turning points, your crossroads moments are at hand starting June 1st through to August the 9th, and how this kind of a sky brings us back so many hundreds of years ago, late 1800s. It really can't say how it would feel to go through this together collectively or individually. I'll give you one fun fact. The poem America the Beautiful was published on July 4th. The last time Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter hung out together in Cancer. Well, we also trined the North Node of Destiny in the sign of Pisces. So welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Lori Lothian, and this is the Western Tropical Zodiac Astrology Stories, not sidereal. We're using those minor asteroids, Hekate, the triple thresholds goddess, who helps us come to a turning point threshold, a crossroads moment, and make a decision to go left or right. Take your decision path ahead. We also going to get very much juice from Hera, the goddess of relationships and commitments that we make in our lives, and we get some love from the celestial body Varda. This is the supreme, lofty, divine goddess, the queen of the elven kingdom from Tolkien's books, but she's who we call out to in times of darkness and in times of need. And I'd say that there's something very magical going on as Mercury activates her as he enters into the sign of Cancer, with both the lesser and greater benefic cheering him on. Let's get going. Let's talk about what this means for your sun, your moon, and rising sign. And welcome if you're new here. My name is Lori Lothian. We are using this whole sign house system that the ancients used. It is extremely accurate. I know you guys are loving your Placidus, but don't get fixated. If you want to know how to cast your chart in whole sign houses to delineate your sky, this is exactly what all astrologers are using to create general all-purpose content for you. We have to go one sign, one house. So check out my free tutorial. I'm recording this for you on May 22nd. And in the merry month of May, I crossed the 150,000 subscriber line. And I'm so pleased that I finally made it to this place. So my code CELEBRATE, all caps, gives you 40% off my dozens of replay courses, such as finding past lives in the chart, finding your talents in the chart, finding your family and children in your chart. Very many different courses you might want to learn from me, finding your best career path in your natal chart. Those courses are replays and you get them 40% off as part of my celebration. This offer ends at the end of June. All right, guys, let's get talking. That's a lot of words, isn't it? I hear you. I'm packing. I don't know if you can see packing boxes back there. My place is a mess, getting ready for a move. So you might see someone walking behind me. I have a friend visiting, helping me get packed up for my moves. So bear with me. I can't believe I actually did hair and makeup today. I've been working really hard getting my packing done and my divine timing masterclass taught. So when I saw how rare this was and I began to research this moment, because I hear you guys, not another Mercury retrograde. I hate the Mercury retrograde stories, or not another Mercury story, because Mercury will be retrograding in the sign of Cancer. And we take Mercury for granted. He enters into Cancer coming up on June 1st. He exits on August the 9th and heads off to Leo land. But Mercury is important. He's a personal energy between our Earth and our sun, as is Venus. And this is an orchestrating maestro of our intimate lives. We talk about Neptune and Pluto and all the big outers and Uranus, even Saturn, to some extent Jupiter. We're often talking about energies that collectively we're experiencing, that move the societal collective experience of humanity and Earth, and transgenerationally as well for the outer planets. And so when we talk Mercury and Venus, we're talking about what you want. You want to get the good news, and here you want to get the job, you want to get the date, you want to get the date signed for your Mercury, for your marriage or wedding, you want to get the wedding proposal. You need Mercury here. You need him. right? And Venus too. And both of those inner planets are together in Cancer and hanging out with an exalted Jupiter. This rare combination, as I said, I couldn't find this combination after research, and I had to go digging back to 1895, not just to see Venus and Jupiter together in Cancer. No, that happens roughly every 12 years. We'll be doing a separate video on that blessing, but also to get Mercury there. Well, the node of fate was in Pisces and the south node of fate was in Virgo, and then he was flowing to that, right? So this is kind of cool. Now, Hekate is known as the goddess of the triple thresholds. She's, magic and mystery, kind of a spooky Halloween goddess. But I'll tell you one thing about this particular Hekate. She gives us crossroads moments. She always leads us to a threshold or a crossroad and then shows us, then from that position, we go into our intuitive inner knowing, our witchy inner ways, and we make a decision to move this way or that. Crossroads are always in our lives. We're constantly doing the why or the crossroad moment. Why? We're doing that because in life, we always choose things, right? I'm going to eat a bagel for breakfast or I'm going to have a bowl of cereal. And that's a choice. So every time we choose, we bifurcate and we split into a new direction. I was one of your super woos into new timelines. Certainly the bagel versus a bowl of cereal ain't changing your timeline significantly unless the cereal was something you were going to choke on and die. So, but we make these choices and we literally split into a new direction. We're multiply in a multiverse, continually timeline splitting, and we're always trying to split to our highest timeline, to the one that is going to converge for the best of all and also for ourselves. So I want you to think about timeline splitting as much as you might not dig that concept. To me, a thresholds goddess, Hekate, perfectly conjunct the north node in the sign of Pisces, the fish, two tails, two fish going in two directions, right? Which direction are you going to choose as you split or bifurcate here? Now, it's even more interesting that there's a star in this area called Fomalhaut, which is the mouth of the fish, but it's a mystical, magical, spiritual, and supernatural star. I have it on my Jupiter, thus I'm pretty woo-woo. And this is also ending up bringing that little Fomalhaut, magical, royal Persian star energy to this threshold story. Now that's happening with the North Node in Pisces. I will be showing you the screen, while Mercury is down in the sign of Cancer. And it will be around, he enters June 1st, and June the 3rd, that this beautiful portal of crossroads moments are being opened up by the North Node and Hekate. But you'll feel it June 1st. You'll feel it through to about June the 6th, right? So it's really that first week of June. But the point about that is that Mercury initiating his entry into Cancer will then bake in like a baking into a clay, like a kiln. Right? You're going to glaze the cup. You're going to glaze the Sumerian tablet. You're going to bake in something. You're baking in the kiln of reality, the theme of crossroads decisions. So don't look for those decisions to only be here in your life. Those moments of transition or thresholds. Don't look for that to only be true this first week of June. This could conceivably be an archetype that takes you all the way through to August the 9th. And you're still in this crossroads decision vibration energy field. All right. So it's not just limited to the first week of June. Now, Jupiter is a benefic and so is Venus, and they're going to hold hands and join together as one on June the 9th. We will have a separate video after this one a few days later about how that resets your life for one whole year and what you might do with that. So stay tuned for that video. But having Jupiter a benefic in exaltation greeting Mercury at the door of Cancer can only lead to something beautiful. Yes, like the poem on July 4th, published on July 4th, called America the Beautiful. America the Beautiful. And then it became a song because some kind of organ choir guy, religious dude made it into a song. And of course, now it's epically famous. But there is something about that because Jupiter and Venus are traveling in the part of the sky where the United States of America not only has its natal Jupiter in the Sibley chart, exalted in Cancer, but also where the United States has its sun on the dog star Sirius in Cancer. So we could also anticipate a probable energy field with Mercury entering here, and Mercury will be in this part of the chart to August 9th, that we may see an epic replay of some kind of iconic American moment, right? And I'm Canadian, so I'm just saying it really impacts America's sun and America's Jupiter. So America the Beautiful poem is considered to be like a patriotic piece of literature that became a song. So let's see what happens in the same vein, if anything, that kind of can be an upswell and the beginning of an iconic new patriotic energy. All right. So last things I want to say before I show you the chart, we go through your sign. Well, I do world astrology and mundane astrology. Today's not that day. This is such a beautiful, positive story. Other than to say that it's an upswell of positive energy, I will probably save this for my June world astrology overview 30-minute video that's coming out on the weekend after you see this. And I'll talk about this energy for the month of June and bring it into the context of world astrology, including the United States of America. Now, you probably hear a siren. That's one of the reasons I'm moving. I'm between a hospital and a fire hall. I haven't lived here a year and I have no air conditioning either. And I honestly can't take it. Plus, I need an office dedicated to recording studio. You'll see me all over my living room in this channel. By the way, if you haven't ever tried me out, like a good pair of shoes, want to take me for a walk or a spin, I'd probably a pair of red shoes myself, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Try me out and see if you like this channel. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can always unsub if you really don't like what I do, but I hope you will give me a try if you're new and this is your first time here. For all my regulars who've been with me since 2019 when I first started this channel as a Lunatic Astrology. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you guys. You kept me going. Let's get started. I'm going to open up for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We're going to spin around the chart. Cancers, you're going to get a big bunch of juice here. Certainly, this is exciting, positive energy for the most part. But remember, we have to look at that crossroads and threshold energy. All right, so let me pull up the chart for each of us and we'll get into the narrative. There's a new thing called hype. If you can hype me, do so. It helps. This is a forecasting predictive type of astrology. So I'm going to do my best to give you the zeitgeist essence and gist of what may be going on during this transit. Again, June the 1st to August the 9th. We'll be doing updates as this happens because as Mercury moves through the sign of Cancer, he'll be doing other things with other planets. This is the overview, of course, of this next couple of months and how it looks for you. Come on, guys. It's like 7 weeks long. It's pretty intense. So starting on June the 1st, Mercury, this is Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Starting on June the 1st, we'll see Mercury moving his butt into the sign of Cancer. Now, this is considered a mute sign in ancient astrology, so it might mean he's low-key, not screaming terrible headlines that make us anxious into the world. He would be your news announcer, right? This is kind of low-key quiet. This is your 4th house, Aries. This is where you live. This is where you abide. This is where you put your head on your pillow at night. This is your domicile. Now, you've been dealing with Jupiter and Venus here and really enjoying the ride. You probably like your home or expanding your home or decorating your home, or like me, moving to a bigger, better, more fancy and luxurious home with air conditioning. So this energy has been opening up for you. And, Venus has been doing her best to be a contributor to this narrative. She entered into Cancer on May 19th and leaves on June the 12th. And I'll be moving in that window. So I'm trying to show you how this stuff works. And, Aries Sun, it's your career, Moon, it's your home and nest, and Aries Rising, it's everything about your character in the simulation. So all of this is being blessed. So my Aries moon is getting a blessed increase of bigger home and better home. Now Mercury moves in here and joins the fray on June the 1st. And you'll notice that he is flowing beautifully to the triple thresholds goddess Hekate, where you're going to make a threshold crossroads decision based on some deeper inner knowing. And it's going to be fated and destined crossroads moments. You're going to feel it most acutely the first week of June, but it could be baking in that flowing energy of making these fated decisions over the course of an entire 7 weeks, because it's the beginning onset energy that's available to you. And having this happen, it could be major decisions around foreign people, foreign countries, and foreign lands, far off places. It may be about your spiritual attainment and enlightenment story as you want to lean more into inner knowing and inner awakening. It could also be major changes with money and worldly success connected to foreign companies, foreign clients, foreign or distant shore customers. In other words, so a lot of people, like barter and trade, import, export, it becomes a new digital currency economy. And you might be saying, I'm making fated changes, but that increase my worldly success, North Node, in how I accrue that kind of financial gain. See, Venus is the ruler of your money house, and she's witnessing this ingress of Mercury. For some of you, it's definitely about financial shift. Mercury here is also in a ping-ping with the South Node in the house of job, work, employee, employer situations, also rental properties and agreements and contracts and where you want to live. in a rental agreement, or as a landlord leasee. And I like to think that maybe Hera here, which is also like Juno, what we bind ourselves to, what we wish to commit to, or uncommit from. Therefore, we could marry and divorce under her energy field. What we agree to commit to in a binding way is also activated. She's also got some associations with moneta or money, just like Juno. I like this energy here for you if you're thinking of making some major destined crossroads decisions around what you want to agree to in long-term committed love relationships, because Venus is witnessing the Mercury ingress directly. She rules your long-term love and business partnerships. So major changes in business partnerships agreements, employee-employer agreements, leases and rental properties, or commitment to long-term love stories. If there's a long-term love story commitment, there's a possibility the person you're going to think of committing to, and so you're single or dating or in a longer relationship that wants to change pace, move in together, get married, get engaged. This might involve a relationship with somebody that has connections to foreign countries or distant shores. Venus trines that North Node in that 12th house. Jupiter also indicates foreign land. So foreign land, distant shore, or geographically separated love stories may be looking for some new destined crossroads moments to turn that into a cemented deal, right? To seal the deal. In your home, you might be finding yourself just simply enjoying your social life close to home and in the home, entertaining Venus, Mercury in the home, being very much communicating, writing, marketing, or selling, or just coming up with really great ideas that are like that poem, America the Beautiful, in your home. But we see the Varda asteroid. She's really like the elven queen. She's luminous. She's bright, bluey, glowy. She's a little bit like Fatima, like a virgin apparition, but she's definitely not human. She's kind of alien, if you ask me. And although she's a fictional character, she does resonate with the star maiden Estrella. I think you're going to reach out for help in your darkest hour to a higher power if you need it. And during this, not only ingress the first week of June, but a sense of being able to rely on some kind of feminine, divine presence to support you. And in what way can she help? Your career. Yes, your purpose and reputation, career space where everyone sees you doing something. And with a fallen moon, stoic exiled moon up here, is there something you need to petition the divine for regarding your career and your career activity that comes at a cost? Where that moon would rather be nesting in the home, making a beautiful, pleasant, cushy, comfy home, maybe making babies and enjoying that in the home. And all of a sudden, there's this pressure point in the career. Look to a higher power, petition something beyond yourself. Because with Saturn ruling that Varda, it really means that you have a hookup, because Saturn's in your sign, to something higher than you, a higher benevolent power to pray to say, I need some help here. Right? I'm working too hard, not enjoying my home. Something's got to give me a break. I'm missing something here. I'm working and I'm stoic, but I maybe not be enjoying it so much, right? The moon's stoically working hard to be appealing and popular in the world. She's a full moon up there right now. You're looking at, she was full over here. It's one thing to be a full moon and be really well received in your work by the world at large or the public. But if you're not enjoying the ride, there's something wrong. So there's a kind of crossroads turning point on those decisions as well. This is forming a wedge where a higher power may be able to intervene. Hey, those higher powers, they don't work for you unless you ask for help. So I'm giving you guidance to ask for higher level power beyond your mortal coil for assistance in finding the best balance between work and career success and wanting to be nestled in your home and enjoying the pleasures of your beautiful sanctuary of a home. We shall move on away from the Aries narrative, and we'll talk a bit to you, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's get there. Did we pin this baby to Aries? I think we did. That means I accidentally pinned the chart to Aries instead of whole sign. We'll just fix it. I'm in the back end doing that for you guys. Whole sign, calculate. And we're not Taurus because, we pinned it, but we can get back there. We can do that. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. What you doing, guys? You got through that May 16th all-gold moon. Did you lose your head? Did you fall into a bender? What happened? Did you feel like the whole universe was like crazy ass for you? But that's over. That was the May 16th weekend. Might have dribbled into a little before and after. You survived. You survived to tell the tale. Here we are, Taurus. So sun, moon, and rising, don't forget, guys, sun is your true self, your essential nature, your career purpose, moon's your home and nest, and how you feel about your world that you live in, your home. And of course, the rising sign is things to do with your character in the simulation. So all you Taurians are going through this, not seen since 1895, but fated crossroads moment as Mercury enters into your third house. Your third house is not all about you. It can be your neighbors. It could be your childhood friends from high school. It could be your siblings. It could be the local environment, gas station, grocery store, dog park, where you hang out in your local zone, where you go do things every day, your daily world, your environment of your neighborhood and neighbors, of course. So I want you to consider how this is activating something that's pretty darn powerful for you, where you're going to be paying a huge amount of attention to what's going on in the third house. It could be a lot of communication. Mercury is like talk, communicate with those siblings. Siblings are here with those neighbors, cousins. It may be a lot of social time. And because Mercury with Venus, Jupiter here will expand that for you. And it's kind of viable that there's a baked in vibe, really baking in, June the 2nd to August 9th, you're going to be a lot more social. Like, yes, Mercury will be here that long, but Venus will take a vacay and leave June the 13th. And it kind of brings you a tighter little window of June the 1st to the 13th. What you might be June the 1st to the 13th, extremely social. Really gallivanting around and doing things locally, going to the beach, hanging out with your friends, going to the bowling alley. So look for a very social vibe at that time. Jupiter can bring great blessings from siblings to you, or your siblings can find themselves extremely blessed as well with that Jupiter-Venus conjunction pending here. But as Mercury moves through your third house, one thing he does like to do is to be the protector of travelers on the road, pilgrimage style. You might be considering some short trips for leisure and pleasure, especially romantic getaways particularly for leisure pleasure, especially the first, 2 weeks of June. And I would say go for that trip. It's a good idea. Or baking in an energy of fated crossroads changes in your career space, probably. This is not just career. This is your social groups of belonging, clubs you belong to, networks, social networks, friends in general, destined fated crossroads moments. You may be making some choices about your friends, especially with a sextile from Mars. Which friends you're keeping, which you're not, which social engagements and groups of belonging you want to keep. Don't worry, any changes you make are blessed because of the Jupiter-Venus trine to the North Node, whole sign wise. I think that Venus being basically the Lord of your sign, right, your top dog, goddess, you won't make any mistakes. All these crossroads moments are for you, completely for you, not even like difficult. You should be celebrating. Possibly what Venus may be up to here is getting you a new job or something positive in your job as she guides Mercury to up-level your work environment, your employee space, and your job description space. So you could see you guys getting a raise or promotion or an elevation within a setting of work under this energy. And it could be all the way through June 2nd to August the 9th, even baking in the possibility of an destined elevation in your career, but knowing that you must make this crossroads decision or crossroads choice, right? Like it's up to you to decide if you want to say yes to this opportunity. And because we also have what binds us in agreements with the South Node of fate in your fifth house, there are major binding decisions you're making connected to romantic and sexual partnership, but also maybe connected to matters that may be a little bit more about if you have children, your children. You could be looking at major crossroads decisions regarding conception, whether to produce a baby or not. Those are vibes that you're having right here, just so you know. This is a very fertile energy when you pair Jupiter and Venus in the sign of motherhood or parenting, and you're getting a kind of what you want to commit yourself to one way or the other at a threshold crossroads way. Yeah, it's intense. You might be looking at also some major turning point decisions in long-term committed love relationships as well. Whether or not you want to bind yourself to that relationship or not bind yourself to that relationship. Look for some major turning points also in the life of your children. If you have children, right? They're figuring out what they want to kind of make a vow to commit to, like your marriage vows would be. It doesn't have to be marriage, but anything in the life of a child, should you have grown children. reaching out to a higher power energetically as this 7-week story begins. It bakes in a kind of petition God, right? And I really mean that. This is the house of the God. God is here. Goddess is down here. So we have God energy in the house of the God house in ancient tradition. This is temples and oracles, right? And going off to, the temple to get oracular guidance, or to church to talk to your priest. So I think that having Varda, this beautiful celestial deity, this elven queen that we can call to in our time of need, in our darkest hour, she's like that one, right? Mother Mary, come to me. And it wrote, let it be, let it be. It's very much that vibe, but this is a churchy house or a synagogue house or whatever. So petition what belief structures you have for support. And when you need something, a higher power to step in and be an ally for you, you've got a vector for that power to come to you because you ask. You must ask for help. It won't show up if you don't ask, but lean into what you think God, goddess looks like for you. I like this energy lastly, and all of that. If you're an online person, if you work in the online industry, or if you're a writer, there's some positive developments going on here in your social media landscape. It is really good for you because you're productive, you're marketing, you're selling, you're teaching, you're writing, you're communicating, and you're kicking ass here. Like you really are. So this becomes a very lucrative and successful, profitable time for you if you engage in social media activity. All right. That's the vibe for you for sure. And that's what we have. And Taurus, the other thing is that under the sky, there's a lot of desire to increase your dreams and goals and wishes for your life. This is the North Node, but you have a crossroads here. So maybe it's like a crossroads around choosing which dream is the dream you want to hold. What is the most precious dream that you have for your life? Because that's the one that's going to win. Because with Varda sextiling from the house of Dharma, the dream is about alignment with purpose. And so if you were dreaming to be rich, but it wasn't with a sense of meaning or purpose, that dream is going to probably wilt under the sky. Your wishes and dreams are becoming much more aligned with a deep sense of destiny and a Dharma track that you're here to live on and do and be, right? I don't have your chart in front of me, but in whole sign houses, your IC could be in the 3rd house. This could be a blessed relocation, and it could involve foreign countries, foreign lands, or distant shores, not a move down the street. Only if your IC, the immune coli, is in the 3rd house using the whole sign house system. And that could occur, that change of home, between June 1st and August 9th. Just remember, if you don't know anything about this stuff, come join me in Sky Reader this fall. My yearly beginner course is starting, and it's going to move from 6 weeks to 7. So check out the wait list below. It should be in the description box. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. The first thing that we want to pay attention to, I said I am an Aquarius rising, but I have a progressed sun in Gemini. So I'm vibing out with that energy, okay? And I'm really excited about it for us, if you go with the Gemini sun, especially. Okay. So here we have the Gemini sun, moon, and rising. I was just telling you about, I vibe with you guys. Like I'm a Gemini progressed sun, but your progressed planets never take place of your natal. Guys, sun, moon, moon, feelings, thinking, home, sun, career, purpose, true self, rising sun, anything about your character in the simulation. So honestly, wow. It's a money story. Look at the money. This is your money house. This is your prosperity, earnings, resources. Sometimes it's what you stick in your mouth to eat, right? Venus and Jupiter, you are enjoying your pleasures. I bet you with the exaltation of Jupiter, some of Geminis have been overindulging orally. And that's also about, though, finding the middle ground, right? Because Venus and Jupiter together are trying to find the healthiest way to also be enjoying oral pleasure by food substances, what I was thinking there, guys. Food that you put in your mouth. And then Mercury is entering the fray. Now, Mercury will be here like he hasn't done this vibe this way since 1895 in terms of flowing to the North Node of Fate. So we got a vibe 1895 rare, as I mentioned in the intro. He's going to be in this part of your chart till August the 9th, from June 1st to August the 9th. It's a long Mercury tale about money, resources, possessions. Mercury can buy, market, sell. Mercury can speak a lot too. A lot of talking going on here in the house of one's voice. Yet at the same time, Mercury has ideas here sometimes. He's like an idea aider, idea maker for ways money can be made or had or created. You might come up with some new thoughts, some ideas for greater prosperity ideas. Venus and Jupiter here are wealthing you up. And, for you, Gemini sun is career wealth, and moon is maybe from home and nest or mother figures, and rising sign, just you are getting better at the money story. And this is a great blessing. It's also a Hail Mary pass. There's no way you can go broke under this. If you do, there's something really wrong with your birth time. So it's really wonderful for, making money and expanding wealth. Okay. What else can you do with it? Because it's a thresholds goddess energy, and it's destined and fated worldly success in the career expansion area, volume up. Your career is intense, right? But now you've got a crossroads goddess asking you to go inward, to choose which path to take, the road left or right. Which bifurcation in the simulation are you choosing? The multiverse is always splitting away into new different possibilities endlessly. So I kind of wonder, there is like a Jupiter ruled decision you're making in your second house. And the deeper meaning of the second house is the word vocare, one's actual vocational calling. Vocation of Vakari. Vakari is the word, I probably said it wrong, Vocare, Vocare. It is the word that we would say one's calling. You're being called to something in your professional and money-making endeavors. You're hearing a call, just like the 20th card, the resurrection judgment card in the tarot. The angels are trumpeting you to a call, to hear and heed the call of some worldly success, career, money enhancements, but still is at a crossroads. Something's at a crossroads here. And that energy may be baking in for the entire time to August 9th, that you're hearing a call. You need to make some crossroads choices, and you're not sure which way you're necessarily going to go yet. So be really willing to entertain the uncertainty until you do choose which way to go. Part of this is also that energy of your reputation. It's also the house of weddings. And if somebody, Jupiter rules your committed house, is proposing marriage, and between now and August, or you're proposing to them, there's a lot of consideration about whether the answer is yay or nay. And especially true because the South Node is with Juno in your fourth house. Wow, that's intense, because Juno is the marriage goddess, and the South Node is in the home, and the South Node is destiny and surrender and release, but also represents the fated choices to divorce, to stay together, to marry, to move in, to make more commitment in love. And because Jupiter's ruling it, some of the things that you're considering are about the financial outcomes of these decisions as well. All right. So there's a lot going on all at once here. Venus does rule your part of your chart, Libra, that is about romantic and sexual love and falling in love. And Jupiter rules the house of your committed marital love. And Mercury is the mind. You're thinking about something, you're pondering it intellectually. But what also you're pondering is decisions that impact your career. Your career is going to change under this. It's going to level up, and it's going to level up your finances. There's no two ways about it. There's even a possibility that this kind of glow up from Lord Mercury, ruled by Venus, could lead to a winning money, like a ballot or a ticket could be successful for you. And like, it's not a promise by any means, but it could happen. What a crossroads change it. Suddenly you have a lot of money, right? Because Varda, petitioning in your darkest hour, Varda in a house of chunky money, not too shabby. The moon is out of dignity here. How much money are you focused on when it comes to other people's money? Maybe you need to let that go. Maybe you need to just own your own money space and not worry about your romantic partner, your lovers, your business partner's money stories. Like, focus on your own, not the money you share with others, but the money that you're making is what matters. Ultimately, I would say between now and August 9th, you're financially increasing your resources dramatically and significantly. But it's also based on what the choosing quality of these months ahead or 7 weeks ahead is. Choose wisely is Jupiter's motto, and he is with that flow to the North Node and to Hekate, the crossroads thresholds goddess. I like this energy for some of you. If you're looking at making some significant changes to your diet, this is what you ingest, right? And so Mercury is giving you information that you need to maybe make dietary changes if necessary. And so this could be good for digestive health as well as microbiome. Mars rules the house of sickness, and he's looking at the story from the 12th house of karmic patterns or addictions and self-undoing. And then maybe a shift of dietary pattern and food style in order to dramatically improve your health during this next few weeks, all the way through through to August the 9th. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And looking for food and substances that bring you enjoyment and pleasure to eat, but also that are going to be breaking patterns of self-undoing, Haagen-Dazs, whatever you do that impedes your health, letting it go. It's deeper than just a food style change. Mars would indicate breaking patterns and habits around food and ingestion of food or substances that is happening at a deeply karmic level that ultimately changes health trajectories, okay, for you. This is urogenital health issues as well, your sixth house. So those kinds of health challenges can be having a very critical and positive turning point under the sky, under this energy through to August the 9th. All right, let's go ahead and talk about you, Cancer. Of course, I should have started with you. I apologize, but you are big energy right now. I don't know if you feel expansive. Gratitude is overflowing. You're probably okay on your health, I hope, with Venus, Jupiter here. Matters connected to how you feel might be very positive. Especially if you're Cancer rising. Cancer sun, it's about expansion of wealth and prosperity through career. And Cancer moon, how you feel and think has become buoyant and effortlessly effervescent. But your home life might also have gotten much better. You might even have children in the home, visiting the home, or babies being made in the home, or grandkids coming into the home. So what you have happening here, Cancer, sun, moon, and rising, is that Jupiter-Venus combination every 12 years. And this your feel-good time this June, July. What we're talking about today, of course, is the beautiful flow of not seen since 1895. And the old song, America the Beautiful, was published here. This is the North Node of destiny, but also worldly success, amplitude, volume up, fated events, next to a crossroads goddess choosing which way to go through a deep inner reflection, Hekate. Hekate is asking you to make a reflective choice about what you want when it comes to purpose and meaning in your life, the dharmic path, the way to go forward that uses your gifts and talents, and you feel aligned with meaning in life. At the same time, there are other things here that could be being chosen by you in a crossroads way. Educational opportunities, especially higher education, court and legal matters, and matters connected to publishing and book publishing, and crossroads fated turning points up here. But you also might want to notice that you had a South Node and Hera, like Juno down here, the wife of Zeus. The quality of this is about what you need to contractually agree to and bind yourself to. And Mercury rules your third house of writing, and the ninth house is publications. And you might be looking at the potential of a contract agreement or binding agreement that you're considering when it comes to the word publishing. Also, agreements you might need to make around travel, especially domestic or foreign, like either one, local or domestic, and turning point choosing and crossroads decisions. Now, this energy is very active the first week of June, as Mercury ingresses June 1st and will be in your first house until the 9th. But you'll notice that whole thing can play out all the way through until August 9th, where you're in decision or decision-making mode. Because you are also receiving Mercury, you're going to notice that there's a lot of thinking you're going to do, a lot of ideating, a lot of intellectual inside of you considerations, most likely true, most likely active, all the way through to August the 9th. So all through June and July into the first week of August, it seems like you're kind to consider something, and you're looking through the lens of Venus, what is true and what is beautiful and what is enjoyable, and Jupiter, what is wealthy, what is prosperous, and what is true. And your decisions are weighing on those handlebars of Venus and Jupiter, asking for the depth of decision-making to come from a deep and truer place. There's a quality about that where Venus is the ruler of your career gains, where Mars is working hard like a bulldozer, that some of you with Mars 11th house bulldozer might be really considering whether or not that work path that you're on, well, lucrative, is the one for you. Making money may not be all there is to your reality in this kind of considerating time frame. You might want to leave behind a method or means of employment or work gains and career. Jupiter rules the job, the work, the service, the servitude that you do. And some of you may be making some big choices about whether that path ahead is the one for you. And by August 9th, you will either continue with it or leave it. You've got Mars in your 11th house all the way through until June 28th. So there's a premium in June on making those career decisions and weighing in on it, of course, is Jupiter. What's true, what's wise, what's good, especially career choices that are good for your health, mental, emotional, or physical, versus ones that are wearing you down. Because, Mars wants to have fun. He wants to be hanging in your sexy fifth house, environment. Like he wants to have a little bit more sexy time maybe. And he's stuck up there in a workhouse, and it could be just pleasure and enjoyment in life is missing the spirit of that. And so you're going to reflect, maybe a lot of Cancers, on how to rectify that during this long Mercury travel through your first house. Venus is the ruler of your property, land, home, and real estate, greeting Mercury at the door. And Venus will be here until June 13th, with Mercury and Venus together through to June 13th. There's something going on where those 2 first weeks of June, you might be making some major turning point decisions regarding your home life. And this can be about moving your home, changing your home, what you do in the home, who lives with you in the home. Okay, so be aware of that. The other thing to pay attention to, maybe your children, but also maybe they want to move from home, you want to, or have a child move back home. That kind of vibe is here, or be a home closer to your children. But the other energy I'm getting here is that Varda, the elven queen, who has this luminous blue light and can be a grace, like a grace energy, like a Mother Mary Virgin kind of thing. People pray to the Virgin Mary, for example. There's an energy of Varda with a debilitated moon in the house of other people. Like it could be your audience, your clients, your customers, your business partnerships, your marriage partnership feels like stoic, hardworking, and disciplined, but that's your moon. You are moon ruled, and your moon is out of its own dignity. So you might be feeling like something has got to give here, like a little bit like how much attention you pay to the needs of others and how you can draw it back to yourself. And asking for help from a higher power might be the solution here. Asking for a higher power to show you how to bring a lot more self-love, self-care, and self-nurturance back to you seems like you're tending other people's needs. And maybe for other people's financial needs as well, lending money to kids or having a position of employment where you are, the money's going, you're doing the money for someone besides yourself. Interestingly enough, the South Node energies in the house of siblings. So also pay attention to what commitments you've made to siblings regarding professional endeavors and prosperity and wealth. And you may be getting ready to either tighten up, like make a harder asked agreement, or loosen the bonds of that agreement with a sibling, whatever that sibling bond is. This is also very activating for you of the sibling 1 older, the sibling 2 older, and the sibling 1 younger, and the sibling 2 younger, no, 1 younger. Those are the siblings that are in the mix right now, sibling stories. Let me know how it goes, you Cancerian beasties. Let me know how this not seen since 1895 vibe plays out for you. I have no idea what you're doing with that Mercury. Like, what ideas are you hatching up? Because it could be really good for writing, social media, teaching, learning. Some of you are propelling yourself towards re-education or educational directions, but also third house stuff. What do you need to write? What do you want to learn? What do you want to do in that online landscape as well? You may also be breaking agreements regarding travel, whether it's long distance or short. There may be some decisions you're going to make by August 9th to maybe not travel somewhere that you thought you would, and it, sort of kibosh the travel plan. Leo, sun, moon, and rising. We have a not seen since 1895 rare combination of a sky. I hope I'll put rare on the title of the video, because it really is not, I'm not lying to you. So 1895 rare. We got the North Node of Fate amplitude in a house of chunky money, and can include inheritances, flowing to Mercury on the June 1st ingress in a house of hospitals, a house of backroom deals and negotiations, international barter and trade, and making money from long distance shores and people who live there. So our internet world allows for that to be true. Money isn't a local market, it's international these days. So your international financial situation. Because we have Jupiter and Venus here, and there's a lot of bounty from the money you get internationally or from people in distant shores and lands. But there's also a lot of and prosperity, but there's a lot of decision-making energy coming in here, because the South Node with Hera, it's kind of like, I commit to marry you, I'm going to divorce you. Either way, I take on or off, hot switch, cold switch here. But Hera is the goddess of, betrayal and jealousy, and she does other stuff, but she's very much involved. Also the goddess of childbirth, I think. But what she's trying to do is may help you make a letting go level decision that's fated and destined regarding monetary matters, money matters, right? And with the Mars in your 10th house, some of those matters may be a choice to release yourself from some form of income earning strategies and take a new path. The chunky money doesn't belong to you. You share it with other people. It's a bank loan, a mortgage, a tax rebate. It's a money from royalty income, book publishing deal income, stipends, grants, payouts of some sort. So that kind of money is intensely activated by this Mercury. We're talking about June the 1st to August the 9th. Remember, 7 weeks, this theme will play out, not just the first week of June. It's baking itself in. A lot of focus on that money stuff. Mars in the 10th house, or you're working too hard and you're not enjoying your home life, for example. Easily a possibility. And if you're working really hard behind the scenes, doing something in the back end of somebody's world, back end work, considerations, profitability. But there's also an energy here. Venus is talking about greeting Mercury at the door of the 12th house. Well, she rules your 3rd house of siblings. And so sibling energy is very active. Mercury rules the sibling house is your 11th. Sibling energy is very active, connected to money, work, prosperity, earnings, decisions as well. Ultimately, the vibe of having this incredibly intense 12th house transit, not seen this way since 1895, but yes, every 12 odd years, you're going to have something similar, is what you do in your solitude. And when you're home alone, when you're in your quiet hours, when you're taking time off from engaging with other people, you're looking for wisdom, truth, and knowledge, enjoyment and pleasure, including bad pleasures. And you're also looking for knowledge of information. Mercury is the information you need to make major life decisions. I'm not going to discount the possibility of an inheritance for some of you. Could be from a father figure coming through to August the 9th. Varda, the Elven Queen, she's sitting, Queen of the Elves. She's not actually an elf. The Queen of the Elves is sitting, Tolkien, in your workhouse. And you have a very stoic and debilitated moon here as Mercury ingresses into the sign on June 1st of Cancer. I would indicate something about burnout or depression or exhaustion in the work environment, maybe also challenges with your health, especially with Capricorn. Look for your knees. And yet at the same time, Varda is the one you pray to in times of need. So like, should you injure your knee or something, right? Mars is trining the house of your knees, Capricorn. Like this is, or break a bone maybe, or chip a tooth. Mars is trying to help, but nonetheless, pray to the Queen of the Elves for support, illumination, and shift of direction and help. Ultimately, the decisions you're making at a crossroads level are financial for most of you, all right? There's a small chance if you're an occultist, a magician, a sorceress, somebody who uses paranormal and esoteric means in their life. Hekate is that witch, and the North Node is amplitude, and the 12th house is past lives. So you might be making some major inroads into your abilities as a psychic reader, an occultist, just sort of amplituding it up. But it's crossroads decisions here. Some of those will be about your career with Mars's position. So I think most of you is going to feel like a money, a work, a crossroads choice in those regards. If you have overindulgence orally of things that you shouldn't eat, like a whole jug of ice cream before bed, or mounds of nachos, or maybe even something to do with addictions. Well, Jupiter's trying to give you truth and knowledge. Venus is showing what pleasure could be if it's done well, healthy. And Mercury is information. A lot of you could be looking at a new dietary habit, especially with the moon in the house of sickness. And there's a turning point, crossroads choice to make about how to best fuel your body and be healthy, whether it's to remove an addiction or to add better food style. Some of you it'd be good for a cleanse. This would be good for going away to a spiritual retreat center that specializes in dietary restrictions and, spa cleansing and stuff like that. Now, if you want to do that between June 1st and August 9th, I'd say that would be an ideal time for that, or just to engage in some kind of dietary cleanse. That would be great for you. And I should say grandparents too, if you're looking for inheritance money, there's some indicators of from an elder, right? So that money coming your way or that little bit of dispensation may emerge between now and August the 9th. All right, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign, Virgo. What the hell? Not seen since 1895 is this concept of Mercury retrograde, long stay. He's not retrograde yet. He will be on June 29th, but his long stay in Cancer, your 11th house. He's going to be here with benefic Venus and Jupiter. It's really good for matters of social networking and friendships and expanding those friendships and making them true and making them pleasurable and making them fun. But I'm not thinking you're just going to party hard with a bunch of friends that you really like. Jupiter wants friends that are true and wise and good, true, wise, and good for you. When Venus wants you to enjoy the time with them, there's a very big social energy here for you, June 2nd to August the 9th. At the same time, your long-range goals, visions, and dreams for your life, along with the gains of your career, specifically awards, rewards, perks, money, raises, promotions, increase, good stuff there, is being highly activated. As Mercury enters here on June 1st and remains there until the 9th of August, this is conceivably a new job offer. Mercury rules your 10th house of career, and you might be surprised by it because Uranus is there, and it may kind of blindside you. There's an inconjunct, like out of the blue, you're getting this raise, promotion thing, or weirdly a job offer. With Mercury retrograde through, the 29th of June, add 3 weeks, job offers from the past or job opportunities from the past that never really materialized could come your way. But we'll dive into that more when we get to the retrograde video. But you might be excited or surprised by what could come out of the blue your way. If you have a job you love or work that you like or professional engagements that you're enjoying, then there's just going to be more gains, more success, more positive energy stemming from the work you're up to. Now, as Venus is greeting Mercury at the door and we have this trine to the North Node, major turning point decisions are coming through regarding contractual legal agreements, perhaps connected to work. Hera is on your ascendant with the South Node, or your moon or sun, Virgos. If you're a Virgo sun, it's very career-oriented stuff here. If you're a Virgo moon, it's how you feel, or it has to do with your home life. And it's Virgo rising, of course, it's anything about your simulation character. And so vibing out here, there's a fated crossroads choice you're making, or your partner in long-term committed love is making regarding the relationship. Okay? Haven't seen this since 1895. You're at a turning point here, a crossroads moment. This is very active the first week of June, but it also kind of thematically overlaps through till August. There's a tight little window of time from June 1st to June 13th where Venus is exalting this turning point in a long-term committed love relationship. And Jupiter could say, let's buy a home. Let's cohabitate. Let's move in together. He rules your 4th house. And Mercury says, let's announce a wedding proposal, a marriage, a wedding date. So you've got a lot going on here, but the turning point crossroads energy is up to you. Mercury is your ruler. You must make the decision. You must come up with the right mental approach to this story. It's yours to choose and decide which left, right thing you're going to take, whether it's professional changes or relationship changes. You are the maestro of the change. You are the one trining the goddess of the crossroads, Hekate, in that 7th house. The North Node wants you to bring the relationship up. It wants to promote it into a bigger pot. Root-bound love story, committed love, expands into a new territory, right? So I mentioned moving in, buying a property, getting married, getting engaged, moving from dating to commitment. Take your pick. Barda, the queen of the elves, who we reach out to in our darkest hours, her name is lofty and sublime. She's there in your 5th house of romantic love. Yes, if you were a single Virgo, you might meet somebody amongst social friends, networks, and groups of belonging, and you might go on a date, and you might indeed be feeling like you've been blessed by the lofty goddess herself with a brand new love story. But the moon on the ingress is in debility. The moon is exiled from her home kingdom. And I would not think that this would be the best new beginning, honestly. So keep that in mind. If you're single, I wouldn't jump straight into a new relationship between now and August 9th. I might hesitate about that. But the moon here can be where you're not enjoying your life, where the pleasures have left all left the room. You're not feeling at home in your own life of pleasure, and particularly if you're exiled from parties and fun and friends and social things, and you might be feeling like you need to pull away, or pulling away has happened. There's just that. But Jupiter would have you pull away as he guides that moon for good reason. Time away can be good. Like if you're pursuing a sobriety program, you don't want to hang out with your drinking buddies. I'm just making an example. It could be so many different things. So some solitude or time away. Now we're talking about all of June, all of July to August the 9th, but it ain't forever, right? We're not putting you into a timeout corner by any means. I'm going to give you a story, but it may or may not be true. Mercury is news. Uranus is in his sign. Jupiter and Venus are fertility goddesses. They're eyeballing a exiled moon. There's a chance that some of you are looking at unexpected stories to do with pregnancy and fertility, your own, your partner's, or your children. And the moon in exile isn't feeling so joyful, not sure if this is a good thing or not. Jupiter of all knowledge and wisdom, and the crossroads decision making that may happen for your children or for you and a partner is what Hekate is pointing to go ahead with a conception that might not have been planned. Uranus means the unexpected, and Mercury's ruling him, and being blindsided by that sudden development would be the code of this chart. And when I talk about a child being pregnant, well, so that's their decision, but you as a grandparent as well might be like, yikes, that's going to put me in a place of having to help out. And I thought I was free of caretaking or something like that. Mom, I have to move home. I'm pregnant. You know what I mean? You're like, what? Okay, some thoughts. All right, so we're going to move past that, but enjoy the ride. This is an exceptionally positive time for you. I expect many of you Virgos to elevate in your career, to get married or proposed to, or move into a new property or home, or buy a home with a partner, with a love partner. Jupiter rules the home. That's why I'm talking about moving in together or cohabitating or things like that. So let me know what happens. I'd love to hear from you, Virgos. How does this roll for you? And if you're going to buy a new home together, unexpected, right? Surprising. You weren't planning it. Suddenly there's a dream home and it's half price. And let's jump in for that home. Libra sun moon and rising. Libras, what's going on? So if you watch the intro, you'll know that this is rare and fated, but it's also crossroads energy, rare, fated, crossroads. These are keywords, rare, fated, crossroads energy. I'm going to write that down for a thumbnail. Rare, fated, crossroads. Mercury brings rare, fated, crossroads. Okay. So energy-wise, this Mercury's fated crossroads is about work and job and career and reputation. Like literally, you are looking at something going on here. You have a great job. You love your job. You love your work. You love your career. Whether you're entrepreneurial or employed, it doesn't matter what. Suddenly there's a shift here, and it begins to be noticeable to you June the 1st. A lot of activity the first week of June, but it can also roll out until August the 9th. The biggest blessing for a career opportunity that knocks your socks off, knocks your pantyhose off, that's going to be on May the 19th. No, sorry, that's going to be on June the 1st to the 13th. June the 1st to the 13th. June the 1st to the 13th. You are golden. I want to encourage you to apply for a job, take the interview. If you get offered a job in that window of time, you should say yes. The first 2 weeks of June could elevate you. Now, if you're already happy in the work you do, it could indicate an increased responsibility or an increased level of power in the work you're doing. You might be elevated to a new position. You might be getting some dispensations that are quite lovely, recognition and all of that. But you still have a crossroads energy about choosing, right? Because the crossroads Hekate in the 6th house means you must make a choice. You can't choose to go left and right at the same time without cutting yourself in two. So what are your choosingness about, especially those first 2 weeks of June? So if you're looking for work, you might be getting that opportunity in front of you. The factors that could come into choosing yes or no may be about distance geographically, international themes, having to commute, having to move to a different city or neighborhood, especially with the moon out of detriment in the 4th house, and Varda, the elf queen there, saying, you can reach out to me in your time of darkness. I'm here for you. Even your mother, move close to mother. Mother wants to move close to you. There's considerations, though, about the exiled moon, right? The moon is exiled in the fourth house. Maybe you're exiled from your mama. Maybe your mama's exiled from you. You live in different countries, different cities. And maybe some strange way, there's considerations around proximity or connection to mother that come through for some Libras. If you have a mother who is alive or anything like that, maybe an ailing mother too, because Mars is in the house of death and the moon's exiled. And so there's a quality that maybe mother's health becomes an issue and it's going to preoccupy you. And there's a crossroads decision yet you must make around your career. Hera, the goddess of the decisions we choose that bind us, the committing to something, the contractual commitments. Hera, Juno energy, is in your 12th house with the South Node. That's a house of hospitals, guys. That's a house of distant lands and shores. I get a feeling some of you might have a professional opportunity, but you may not be able to live where you live. It may require a domicile change. Some of you might be considering that a hardship. So it's both a blessing and a difficulty at the same time, right? And therefore, yes and darn, yes and. It's a yes and or a yes but. Is it worth it to be super successful, but maybe not live where you want to live, to choose to live elsewhere? Your crossroads decisions in a house of rental property. The moon is in exile in the house of home and domicile. Again, some of you are making some fine decisions around work, home, where you live, travel connected to work, different cities or moving connected to work are all very activated here for you. Jupiter is telling the North Node and Hekate how to decide wisely. So don't worry, you'll make a wise decision at this crossroads. You really, really will. I'm not afraid of your crossroads. Jupiter is guiding the North Node Hekate to make a powerful, positive choice. Venus is bringing potentially more pleasure and enjoyment, but also money and wealth through your career space. You get Venus here for quite a while, right? She's going to stick around till June 13th. So again, take the interview, raise promotions and all of that. I like the energy for any of you who are in the book publishing industry. Mercury rules the publishing house. Jupiter owns the writing house. Therefore, anyone in the book publishing industry, you can expect a really nice time between June the 1st and August the 9th, whether it's getting an agent, getting a publisher, or producing and publishing the book itself. This is an auspicious window for all of those things for Libra sun, moon, and rising sign. Finally, because Venus is in the top of the sky, with Mars being ruled by ruling Mars in your 8th house, major turning points are happening financially, but probably connected to other people's money. You may be coming into money from your in-laws if you have in-laws. Mars rules your marriage house. He's in the house of in-laws. And so there may be some new bounty or prosperity from your spouse's family or your long-term partner's family coming into the home or the household itself. Remember, this lasts until August the 9th, archetypally. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. I think I'm going to just kick back a bit here, guys. I'm just going to lean way back. Okay. You'll hardly see me in the little corner here while I get comfy on my work stool. All right. So hang in there. I need to liberate the microphone. Liberate the microphone from the tangled cords of the way we weave them. Still plugged in? Please tell me I'm plugged in. Yeah. So Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. First thing to pay attention to is the rarity of 1895 coming back again to haunt us in a good way, I hope. As you have the ingress of Mercury here all the way through to August 9th, well, being greeted by Jupiter and Venus, and also flowing to the North Node. And this is 9th house, 5th house. And in a nutshell, it's dharmic and it's trying to align you with a deeper purpose. But it's also pregnancy, fertility, grandchildren, childbirth energy, all of that. Now, this is auspicious and destined, but there's a crossroads decision that must be made. It can involve your grandchildren, it can involve your children, it can involve having children or conceiving children. And the crossroads decision is at hand. Mercury will be here till August the 9th. And if you're expecting to birth a baby or your partner is, or invite in a grandchild, or your children are having children and likely to labor and deliver around anytime between June the 2nd to August the 9th, you should find this to be particularly well blessed by Jupiter protecting the whole labor and delivery process for a child that you or your partner are going to have, or your grandchildren or your children's children. If you are thinking about a crossroads decision in the 5th house, it could be about to keep a pregnancy. Mercury is the ruler of your 11th house. There's another story here. Mercury wants you to be able to release or let go or surrender, perhaps, an agreement you've made in the 11th. That could be an agreement to a friend, but it's often a work agreement. So you may be letting go of a work agreement, letting go of a binding contract connected to a company, for example. You get a major separation payment, a buyout payment if you were to leave or retire out of something professionally, if that's in your wheelhouse of possibility. Mercury's in a house of courts and judges and justice systems, and he'll be there all the way through to August 9th. And you should win, especially the first 2 weeks of August, the first 2 weeks of June, when Venus and Mercury are together. You might win in court case battles and experience a win as good fortune. It could impact your pocketbook and bring you more money in your savings account, as Jupiter would deposit the court win into your savings account, for example. Great for book publishing industry success as well. Although possibly with the moon in detriment in your third house on the ingress, there's a baked in vibe here of maybe you need to look at some challenges you're having regarding the publishing and writing industry. Maybe they're going to rewrite or redo or script doctor something and you're not happy with that. So be attendant to your feelings about what's going on there. Travel domestically or internationally becomes very activated between June the 1st and August the 9th. And if you do travel, it may be for leisure, pleasure, romance, or even entrepreneurial reasons. You might have to abandon an agreement you made to a sibling one older, or to a friend or some kind of ally or a benefactor. You might want to fracture some kind of agreement you've already made, but you're feeling into whether that agreement that you no longer wish to abide by has within it a kind of okayness, right? The threshold that you're standing at, the crossroad that you're at, it's okay to break that agreement, I would say. Don't forget, it could just be a professional agreement, a work agreement, a job agreement. Certainly Jupiter and Venus and Mercury all lined up in your 9th house could bring you into touch with spiritual philosophy, ashrams, meditations, pilgrimages, connections to spiritual ideology, and enhancing reading books, right? Mercury, getting information, reading books about these spiritual ideologies. You could suddenly be down the rabbit hole of autobiography of a yogi, or, the power of now. You might become suddenly enchanted with spiritual literature out of the blue, and you've never been there before, but now it's consuming you in a hopefully good way. In general, you may have a sibling, especially one younger than you, going through a feeling of difficulty in their life and feeling like they're in a time of exile from something that they actually want. That your sibling one younger could even be in an exile from social friendship groups, feeling cut off or cut out. It sounds like a weird thing to say, but it's there. And, Varda, in times of darkness, we pray. Our darkest hour, Varda, the queen of the elves, will be there to support the elven kingdom. So, you might reach out and you might ask for some help or prayer for a sibling one younger going through a struggle, especially with the trine to Mars. They may be going through a really difficult time in their life, but they're making progress, steady but slow. But you could be an ally for them and give them a leg up and really give them some cheerleading or some prayer support as well. There's hope in the darkest hour for siblings in general, especially a sibling one younger who might be struggling with anything, a health challenge, an addiction with Neptune, Saturn, right? Okay. That's what I have for you. Remember, you haven't seen this since 1895, so it's a big deal. All right. You happen to be Sagittarius fire, and we haven't seen, this beautiful flow between Mercury entering your 8th house of chunky money, staying there till August 9th, being greeted by the two benefics while flowing to the node of fate. Well, for some of you, it could lead to money, but it's going to come likely as land, property, real estate, mortgage, banking loans, financing, refinancing, matters connected to inheritances and property and domestic, a change of home, a domestic shift of home. It could be a rental property. It could be a purchase. I can't tell. North Node, expand to home, more worldly success. But there's a crossroads decisions around those matters, whether they're family property, inheritance monies, change of home, money for home, refinance a home, sell a home. All those are possible here. Mercury would be like the negotiating in the money house guy. If it's an inheritance, and it could be, it may be from a father figure, a male figure. And that's because the sun's in the setting place with Uranus. A surprising departure of a father figure for some Sagittarius is if you have a father figure. If you're going through a difficult ending in a relationship, like a divorce settlement, this should favor you, right? This should be like you get the house, you get the sofa that you want. There's a possibility that the moon, she's debilitated and she's in your second house, and you might feel like you're clutching your pearls around your savings or your money. Somehow, some way, money feels like you're having an emotional contraction around your finances. But Varda, she's the elf queen, and you can pray to her in your darkest hour to relieve you of some of this consternation about money or earnings or resources or possessions. Even in an inheritance battle, you might be gritting your teeth about whether it's going to work out to be fair. If you have a sibling too older than you, they're entangled in this inheritance story with you, you see. And I don't see them as an enemy at all. But if there is an inheritance, there may be some considerations of what that sibling's up to. And the crossroads is at the root of the chart. Major crossroads decisions are likely happening regarding where you live or who you live with or what you're doing in the home. I guess you could be making a crossroads decisions around a parent as well, and what to do, like put them in a parental in-law or a parental parent on your own side of the house, sky, whether or not to like put them in a old age home or something. There's some weird stuff going on here for you guys. Yet you might want to also look at Juno in the house of weddings and the South Node. It's not Juno, it's Hera. It's in your 10th house. Same thing, same archetype. Are you considering breaking an agreement that we would call a wedding vow, a marriage vow? Because it looks like some of you might be pondering, if you're already married, only if you're already married, that there is some consideration of the ending of that relationship, whether it's publicly announced yet or not. And the crossroads decision is entangled in that. That's should I stay or should I go? This is not the chart to start a new relationship unless it's a secret love affair. And who wants that anyway? So this is a chart of an existing relationship that could end. Otherwise, I gave you the other meanings, the money, the home, the change, letting go maybe of one career path. You got Mars in the house of your job, your work, and you've got South Node in the house of career. And I think some of you could just like be ready to like wash it away, flush it down the drain, find a new path. But if that's the case, you get a giant severance package or inheritance money or some payout or buyout or commission check that allows for you to have some fluidity. There's some concern you're having here about your money. It feels like some of you are nail biting. Don't nail bite. It's going to work out. You had like Hail Mary pass on top of steroids Jupiter. Usually Jupiter through the 8th house plants seeds for greater chunks of money to come your way. Sometimes he delivers them, but when Jupiter moves into your Leo house on June 30th, add a year, that's when you see the fruits of his transit through your 8th house and are more likely to receive that inheritance money, property sale income, whatever you're doing. So right now he's planting the seeds for your financial success. This is where time is your ally. And so after June 30th through to August 9th, you'll see that being more true. Don't go into a bitter fight with a partner or a spousal separation or an inheritance, because it will drain you. Okay. South Node will be entering into the 9th house. The best time to get the money and run, so to speak, for any kind of chunk of money that wants to come to you, June the 30th to August 1st. After that, you're not going to win the day. So, settle then, figure it out before then. Best advice I could give you. I'm not going to explain everything I say. I know why I'm saying it. You don't need to know. Was my head like way above? Does it really matter, guys, what I look like in a tiny little corner of the screen? Let's move on. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. Vibrationally, frequency wise, you're coming into this story of the elf queen, Varda, right with you there. I'm going to move us back to June 1st, the ingress. We'll talk about that in a minute, but if anybody could use celestial help from a superpowered being that's kind of like a Mother Mary, come to me. You've got this, all right? You've got Mother Mary archetype, something like you can petition a higher power, baking in to help you all the way from June 1st until Ganesha. Go to Ganesha if you don't like Mother Mary, all the way through until August the 9th. That said, we haven't seen since 1899, as I said in the intro, this pileup in your seventh house of long-term committed love and marriage. What this is interesting. And it's flowing like 1895 to the North Node in Pisces in your third house. Now, third house can be categorically siblings. The seventh house could be three older or three younger than you. Or you could be involved, things could be involving a sibling, two older, three younger, or one younger. Those siblings are very active right now. So there's a lot of a sibling energy with destined fated crossroads change that must be considered. They could bring you prosperity, abundance, and wealth, especially the three younger or older sibling regarding the word wealth. There may be some major decisions regarding long-term committed love, and you're at a crossroads and you must decide. And there's a feeling that fate has got its hand in the wheel because the North Node is with the crossroads goddess in the third house, right there on that mystical star Fomalhaut. When this ingress begins, you might be kind of talking it out with someone, communicating with a significant love partner or business partner about decisions you're making in that connection to them. Some of these decisions are being made in a house of communications where the crossroads goddess is ruled by Jupiter in the house of someone important to you. There may be a lot of negotiating, compromising, talking, communicating with another person. Energetically, having the binding agreements of Hera, the contractual goddess Juno Hera, energetically, with the South Node in the ninth house, where we let go, release, and surrender. If any of you have been looking at like book publishing, writing, communicating, and decisions, there's a turning point here. You might have to let go of something. You could let go of your book project, let go of a publisher, let go of a legal fight or battle, or a legal agreement that you've made. And that legal agreement can include a marriage agreement. Juno, Venus is a ruler of your house of marriages, weddings, the wedding itself in the house of marriage. You may have agreed to marry someone, now you're not going to. You're married to someone, you're going to nullify the contract you made with them. Jupiter rules your house of distant shores and lands. If you're in a relationship with somebody who resides in a distant place or a far off shore from where you are currently residing, then, or, normally reside, I don't know. This is definitely an energy. Like you're trying to figure out, because Crossroads goddess is in the house of travel and North Node's in a house of foreign places. There's a kind of a consideration that you could be in some of you may be engaged with in a marriage or a love relationship with a foreigner. And there's decisions whether or not you want to keep this relationship going, whether it's because of travel problems or geographical distance or just an exit strategy is needed. It's kind of run its course. Now, anytime you see a Jupiter transit through the seventh house, and you've been going through that since last June 10th, and there was a retrograde, and by the way, long-term love partners from the past probably have been showing up. But the other part of it is that you're coming into truth, legal knowledge, and wisdom, because justice is here with Jupiter. And so there's major decisions about legalizing long-term love stories, like getting a relationship to the marriage level, or about exiting at the legal level. So a lot of you have been going through this Jupiter question mark since last June. Now Venus has entered the fray. Now she's beautifully happy there. It means you love your partner. Your partner feels attractive to you. You're friendly with your partner. Your partner's friendly back at you. And Venus has been adding the friendly juice since May 19th through to June 13th there. So May 19th to June 13th, it's easy to be with the one you love, or easy to be getting ready to leave the one you love or loved in the past. But it's the first 2 weeks of June, because of Mercury's position, where major crossroads decisions are made in those first 2 weeks of June about a connection to some significant love story. Mercury is the ruler of your sixth house of rental properties, pets, and debts. Unexpected surprising debt returns from a sibling, money paid back, unexpected surprising developments regarding rental property opportunities in your life, just for yourself or involving someone else. Both can be true. Now back to that moon. This moon will be in your sign for only 2 days, but it's just because as Mercury enters into your seventh house, he looks across the way at a exile lunation with Varda, the lofty, sublime, benefic goddess of the elf queen energy. When the moon is in Capricorn, you could be emotionally contained and stoic. and trying to hold on to like, emotional rigidity, maybe that kind of thing, or feeling constricted around domicile home and where you should nest yourself. It's as if you're considering these things at the ingress, and that will haunt you a bit through to August 9th. You'll be thinking about, where's my home, or why is my home contracted? Am I exiled from my home? Where do I belong? Am I exiled from true love, or high love, or big love, or committed love? I want you to pay attention to that contraction emotionally if you feel it, and it'll be very active June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, because like on June 3rd, that's when Mercury really does dovetail with the Crossroads decisions archetype, and Saturn is ruling that contraction from and in the home. Where do you feel exiled from where you want to live, or where you need to live, or from with whom you need to live with, and address the feeling. Of course, Capricorn moon is about your home anyway. You're born that way. Capricorn sun is about your career and also your reputation, also your potentially Capricorn sun connections to wedding house stuff, wedding and divorces. Capricorn rising, it's anything about you in the simulation. All right, moving on. Hopefully it helps. I think I went long for you guys for some reason. All right, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. First thing we notice here is you have an energy of last seen 1895 money stuff. When you see the North Node volume up your earnings, resources, and cash. And I can attest to that. That started for me in January of 2025. And I've made more money in my business than I made in the 4, 5, 6 years before that. So astrology does work, even Western tropical. But I worked my ass off. And Hekate, the crossroads decision making in a money house, goes back to the employee house. You have employees. Mercury was asking you to consider major crossroads decisions involving employees, employment, job, and work. You haven't seen a lineup like this before in your life, not like this. Of course, Mercury will be there because of retrogradation, June 29th, all the way through until August the 9th. He's dominating your 6th house. Mercury in your 6th house, that's got a lot to do with negotiating contracts, agreements, ideas connected to work, employment, employer, employee stories. Jupiter is blessing you with expanding the success in your work, the prosperity in your work, the expanding your employee structures. That's me. I've got, went from 1 person to 3 people who help me out in my business right now. 4, if I include Stella, the amazing video editor that you guys see her work being done underneath that whole downline of people who help me. And so I did that, but you could also be an employee. And this is like the boss loves you. Since last June, you're getting greater rewards, you're getting promotions, you're getting loved up. Now, Venus wants you to enjoy the work you do. And she's here and she's present May 19th in your 6th house to June 13th, but she's with Mercury only the first 2 weeks of June. So there's a very important time in the first 2 weeks of June where you're at a crossroads decisions about earning, vocation, voice, and calling. Mars is exiled from the 10th house. And as he's the Lord of your 10th house, you might be making the decisions from home. But you might also be in a home-based career and you're making decisions about how you're going to do that career and how that money is going to go and what you're going to do with it. So there's a lot going on in a professional energy field for you, money, earnings, resources. You might have some major pivotal turning points about changing your dietary habits to improve your health. And Venus is there to bring you enjoyable ways to improve your health. She exalts what you put in your mouth. Jupiter owns your 2nd house. The moon is all kind of tucked into the 12th house of addictions and self-undoing. She's feeling completely disconnected, exiled from the house of health, the house of employment and work stuff. She's exiled from the house of pets. There is a chance to get a crossroads decision to purchase a pet in the first 2 weeks of June that you would fall in love with, and would bring great joy and enjoyment to your life. And Mars is saying to Venus, in the 4th house, we've just moved and we can do a pet in this rental. This is my place. And I'm not going to look for a pet in June. That's anywhere near what I have in mind. But if there's a crossroads choice, maybe I'm presented with a pet, right? So I can't tell you for sure whether or not I will get a pet, but I'll keep you posted. But major pet decisions as well. How do you make money? If you make money from international companies, you work in another country than you were born in, international monetary sources like we can do on online sales or Consulting, so digital income, borderless revenue, money from distant places. Okay, that's a story here, guys. I think that's where the moon is, and also Varda, the elven queen, queen of the elves. I wonder what's going on, because Hera, the goddess of binding decisions on the south node, it looks like you're making a major decision around increasing the money you have through the earnings you do make, connected to maybe money made from digital people, places, or far off people, but also maybe breaking an agreement or a contract or making a significant change in the eighth house. Well, it could be anything. It could be letting go of a tax structure, letting go of a binding contract with regards to your entrepreneurial business structures. Something is changing here. It's all very fated. Having this energy of Venus in the sixth house is really a blessing when she's with Jupiter, if it comes to matters to do with actually finding pleasure in your livelihood, enjoyment. I really want you to pay attention to things that are happening for you, not just May 19th to June 13th, where she can make the workload a little easier and you could have more fun, but more so June the 1st to the 13th, when both she and Mercury are there with Jupiter, that triple energy, because that's going to be almost like a bellwether energy. It's going to give you a strong sense of, this is what I want in my work. This is the way I want to make money and thrive. And the crossroads decisions will be most active in the regards to work and money and prosperity, probably the first 2 weeks of June. If, like me, you're moving your home to a new rental property, Venus, Jupiter, opulent, big, enjoyable, pleasurable home, Mercury. You may be doing something when you first get there, like me, June 1st to the mid-June. Like maybe you're going to decorate your home or beautify it or make a home office, which I'll be doing, right? And Mars could be hammering and cutting and nailing and all that good stuff. It's very practical. If you have any debts you need to eliminate, like you owe money to the bank, a credit card debt, you owe money. Okay, if you owe money, this is a beautiful time with crossroads decisions that allow for the removal of debt. So the ability to pay off or pay down a debt almost in a blessed, miraculous way may emerge for you guys, all of us Aquarian beings. And those debts can be anything from your mortgage to your credit card to the money someone owes you, you owe them. Blessings around debts and indebtedness become evident at this time. And you'll feel it all the way through to August the 9th. But the biggest blessings are in the first 2 weeks of June. Mercury could bring you some inheritance money that allows for you to pay off a debt. If that's going to happen during this transit of Mercury for 7 weeks in your sixth house, I think you're going to see it because it would likely connect to father figures, sudden developments in the life of a male, especially a marriage partner or a paternal figure, and money coming your way. Mercury will retrograde in June on the 29th for 3 weeks. And that could mean things like money from father figures from the past or marriage figures from the past. You know, you're divorced and your ex-spouse gives you money, or there's something there for you. Last but not least, Jupiter's goal is to help actualize your dreams, goals, and wishes. He's the owner of your house of great career gains from the house of work. He rules your 11th, but he also says, what is it that you really want to do in life that you can dream into being? What is your dream work? What is your dream job? What is your dream relationship? What is your vision for your life? With Venus and Mercury and the crossroads decision, there's a lot hinging on what you choose regarding money, earnings, spending, job, and career that allow for the fulfillment of some of those dreams and wishes. You may have finally a sudden and exciting turnaround story connected to romantic love that could lead to long-term commitment. So look for those first 2 weeks of June, especially to jumpstart that. But actually, it could even get more intense mid-June to August 9th, where kaboom, love really intensifies and in surprising, electric, exhilarating ways. That's Uranus's story. All right. And so dating can go into something much more serious very quickly, or something from the past. Relationship from the past can be resuscitated or rejuvenated. All right, we're moving on. Last but not least, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. This video is stupidly long. All right, you guys have this threshold goddess Hekate in your sign. You are at one with the triple threshold. Like you're at a crossroads. You got to go in. You got to make a decision. Simple. And the North Node says it's a destined decision. It's a fated decision you must consider. It can be connected to some ways to decisions you're making about where you live, your home, your property, your real estate, where you want to abide, where you want to live. And it certainly can be connected as well to romantic love stories and levels of commitment, right? To bind yourself to some commitment to another person in romantic love. Mercury is in the house of romantic love and falling in love and sexual love. And he will be there from June the 1st to August the 9th. And when he enters there, Venus is there, the goddess of pleasure and romance herself and sexuality and attraction. And Jupiter is there for expanding and blowing it up. He is exalted. And he is your Lord, and Venus is your exaltation Lord. So there's almost like some kind of the hills are alive with the sound of music, la, 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 la. But it's the sound of romance or the sound of love exalted and the sound of pleasure and the sound of play. Mercury likes to play. And so there's a sort of story. If you were single, it would be a good time to go on a date. All right. The first 2 weeks of June, for sure. But we have a crossroads decision that must be made and a surrender that goes with it. And Juno/Hera energy is in the house of commitment. And I always say, when she goes through your first house, Juno or Hera, or your seventh house, should I stay or should I go? Should I commit or should I bail? This is always going to be the dilemma of that transit. And energetically, Juno is in actually your 12th house through to the end of the year. That's a whole other story. If you were my client, I'd tell you all about it. But the energy is coming up to a turning point, crossroads. So Mercury is the messenger. He's giving you the information you need to make a decision. Now, there's like really lightweight stories here too. You're going to hear that you're pregnant, your spouse is pregnant, or one of your children is pregnant during this window of, you'll hear it. You're going to know fertility has landed, news of fertility, news of pregnancy, news of a baby coming, whether it's a grandchild or a child. Some of you will experience that. Most likely when Venus is still in the story. So most likely the first 2 weeks of June. But it can play out as long or as far as to August the 9th. Play the lottery, know your limit and play within it, because the ticket master, getting your ticket, placing your bets, that's Mercury in a gambling house, speculation. Venus is luck and money, and Jupiter is luck, and bounty and wealth. So you open up, especially with Venus's support. It would be a really good time in the first 2 weeks of June to play the local lottery tickets or any lottery tickets, right? Ideally, you purchase a ticket in the local neighborhood, not some online thing based on the position of Mars. I want you to consider as well that there is an energy in the 5th house if you want to be an artist, creative, entrepreneur. Maybe you are already any of those things, but it gives you superior blessings and expands your worldly success in all of those areas of acting, writing, communicating, all of that stuff. Entrepreneurial success. And you can count on some entrepreneurial success as well, all the way through to August the 9th, a real glow up in that part of your chart. The moon out of dignity in the 11th house can mean exile or emotional discontent regarding a sibling one older than you, regarding your friends and your social groups and your network structures, and maybe feeling a little bit emotionally constricted about it all. Yet Varda, she's in play, and she wants you to connect to in the darkest hour, there is hope, right? Archetypally, there is hope. There may be some disappointing stories going on with somebody you consider a friend or a sibling one older, or challenging emotional stories in the life of that person. And maybe some communication. Now, after June the 29th, right, through to June the 29th, through to the 3rd week of July, any former romantic partners, whether you were married to them, South Node in the 7th, or just dated them, like lived together, it could count. They are going to come out of the woodwork and reach out to you, and they're going to want something from you. But the baking in of the cold moon indicates contraction. So you're going to find yourself, they may reach out and want to talk. You may be not excited about it. You may be like contracted about it. It's like you're not engaging emotionally in what's going on if that happens, okay? Especially if they're offering up drama. which is possible under this kind of a sky. Jupiter blows everything up out of proportion. Venus rules your house of chunky money, which is why it's doubly good for you to play in the house of good fortune for a lottery win. But a speculative stock investment that you've already made, don't start from scratch under the sky, could pay off in unexpected ways. Lastly, Mercury rules the house of where you live, your home, your domicile, your nest. And he's in the 5th house. It could be a surprising opportunity to sell a home and get a lot more money than you imagined you'd get. You might surprisingly be able to... some good fortune comes from a sibling 3 older or 3 younger that involves land, property, and real estate. That would be true through to August the 9th. Romantic love and or committed partnerships are connected to unexpected, exciting, and sudden developments in domestic, private home life through to August the 9th. And if you want to travel for romantic leisure getaways, especially the first 2 weeks of June, then you're going to be blessed by superior results. But you're probably not going too far from home because Mars in Taurus is like the bulldozer, not the race car. And so you'll stay pretty close to home in a place that's going to be, with Mercury retrograde in this cycle, a place you've been before. But leisure travel to local places you've been before, not too far away, brings superior results as long as the trip is booked or taken before the 14th of June. Jupiter does rule your 10th house of career, also weddings, but he's in inversion. It could look like, though, you could come into some money that allows for you to direct yourself towards a better career path. There's a light touch on inheritance here for some of you, but it could come more from siblings than it can come from direct, dad and mother figures. All right. And siblings don't have to give you inheritances either. They could just give you a chunk of money, like a gift. So there's stuff like that going on here as well. I hope that was useful. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope this made sense. I hope it will make sense. Don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. This was the rare, not seen since wherever. What I call it? Fated Crossroads. Mercury brings a fated crossroads blessings. Yes, I'm going to call it that. Blessings. Mercury brings fated crossroads blessings. And I'll put the dates in there. June 1st to August the 9th. Okay. And it's what we got. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. It's a hot summer day. I'm going to sit on my balcony, do some research about world astrology, stuff that I want to cover for you guys in a 30-minute video that will be appended to a compilation of the long form videos that I would have put out a week before that. I'll see you guys soon on the next video. Don't forget, when you like and subscribe, I take it personally. It helps the channel grow. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Lunatic astrology.